So be it. Isaiah, why do you think he can call God his beloved? Simply because, like you and I, he has an intimate relationship with Jehovah. Very intimate relationship with Jehovah. Because to Isaiah were revealed things that was not revealed to any other prophets. That's why he called God his beloved, because to him was revealed things that was not revealed to any other prophets. To Isaiah alone was revealed the concept of the Trinity. Beloved, you cannot quit in the midst of it. To Isaiah alone was revealed the concept of the Trinity. To Isaiah alone was revealed the concept of the virgin birth. To Isaiah alone was revealed the concept of the coming death of the Messiah. Three things: Trinity, virgin birth, Messiah's death. Things that other prophets did not see. So Isaiah's beloved is the Lord, Jehovah, and Jehovah had a vineyard, and the vineyard is Israel. Let's look at the text again in verse 1. He planted it on a very fruitful hill. Israel, of course. And when he says, a song of my beloved concerning his vineyard, my well-beloved had the vineyard on a fertile hill. You can circle that here. The Hebrew for fertile hill is son of oil, meaning fatness, olive oil. And look and pay close attention how he cares for his vineyard, how he prepares it. You can picture a real vineyard with grapes and so on. Verse 2, notice the special care in verse 2. He dug it all around. Okay? He dug around it to clean the land, remove the stone. You need to work hard to remove the stone if you want to win a vineyard of Israel, because it's a very rocky land. In verse 2, planted it with the choicest vine and built a tower in the middle of it. Why a tower? There is a watchman so that the grapes will not be stolen during the day and by night. Still in verse 2, and he also hewn out a vine vat in it. Okay? He hewn out a vine vat, expecting wine to be done, expecting good grapes to produce. God anticipated Israel to produce good wine. But at the end of verse 2, then he expected it to produce good grapes, but it produced only worthless ones. In Hebrew, stinky grapes. Okay? Not the same as wild grapes, because you can produce a good wine from the wild grapes. But from the stinky ones, you cannot produce anything. And guess what? He was expecting good fruits for them, but they never come. So now, judgment of the vineyard, leading to number 2 on your outlines, the judgment of the vineyard. Do I need to repeat anything in that section for the sake of your note making? Is it cold in the room, sister? Okay, that's it. I like it because he planted the church. The church is not the vineyard here. But does it have an application for us? In AD 30, he started the church. He sent gifts among men, and the church started in AD 30 when he ascended. What was he expecting from the church? What kind of production? Produce good fruits, good grapes, guys. Are we producing that? Don't answer me, please. Don't answer. Because if you say yes, I won't believe. Yes, I turned that on. Cannot produce fruits, beloved, when we don't study the scriptures. How can you know what he does expect of us with it, the gifts and so on and so forth? We recognize a tree by its roots. So this is Israel, here's the vineyard of Jehovah. Us, we are the bride of Christ. But is there a lesson applicable for us today? Time and a half. Beautiful. What are we producing? He's expect, okay, church, I'm looking at you right now, and I expect evangelism, prayer for the saint, looking after the widows, proper decorum in the church, proper behavior type of thing. Give me a proper worship, go out, send missionary, share the gospel with the Jews first. Simple as that. That's exactly what we don't do. My sister would say, carry on. The judgment of the vineyard, okay? 3-6. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge between me and my vineyard. What more was there to do for my vineyard that I have not done in it? Why? When I expected to produce good grapes, did it produce worthless one? So now let me tell you what I'm going to do with my vineyard. I will remove its edge, and it will be consumed. I will break down its wall, and it will become a trampled ground. I will lay it waste. It will be not pruned or hoed, but briars and thorns will come up, and I will also charge the clouds to rain no rain on it. Okay? Hear what Isaiah does in verse 3. He calls Israel to act as judge between God and his vineyard. That's what he does here. He asks Israel to act as judge between God and his vineyard, and Israel themselves, if you want. Because the expression, you tell me, judge between me, you tell me, he's asking Israel to answer. And the question that he asks Israel, what decision should the owner make under such circumstances? That's the question. What should I do with my vineyard? Tell me what to do with it now. He's asking Israel, okay, Derek, tell me what to do with you. He's asking, okay, what decision should the owner make under such circumstances? And the case is read in verse 4. What more was there to do for my vineyard that I have not done in it? Okay? And there will be no answer, because he did everything that we have read in verses 1 and 2. Dug around, removed the rungs, protected, watchtower, and so on. So what more can I do? They give no answer. No answer is given. No answer is recorded. Okay? So verse 5. So now let me tell you, since you don't answer, let me tell you what I'm going to do. They never answered. Discipline us, Father. We have dropped the ball. They don't answer. Okay. No answer? Louis, let me tell you what I'm going to do. And now that's what he does. You can see the rhetorical. It's beautiful. It's beautiful language in Hebrew, actually. We will see that. God himself will state what he will do. Verse 5. So let me tell you what I am going to do with my vineyard. Remove the edge, will be consumed. Break down the wall, become trampled ground. Lay it waste. No pruning, no the raking of the leaves, and I will charge it loud to rain no rain on it, basically. Number one, if you want, he will take away the edge, meaning thorns will come in. Okay? You know thorns and blackberry. If you don't deal with that the first year, you're cooked. You're overwhelmed with them. Break down the walls here. So the animal, the foxes and the animal of the Old Testament and some will come and trample the vineyard. Because there was two ways to grow grapes in Israel. The same way that we do on Vancouver Island, vertical. But another way in the time of Christ was it lays parallel to the ground. So if the deer comes in, they trample your vineyard.
Okay, would you repeat that?
Two ways to grow grapes. Two ways to grow grapes. Vertical like we do with a stick, or laying to the ground. The vine goes, and the vine, basically the grapes are on the ground. Verse 6, instead of fruitful field, it will become a wilderness. No pruning. But that came to mind sometimes when you travel to Cowichan Lake and so on. I will finish in a moment. And you can see an old van parked in the back, and it's overwhelmed with growth and thistle, and it's all green. That's when I see these things, I think about that. Okay? It's not pruned, so it's overwhelmed. And to make it will charge no rain on it. Number 3, the application 5:7. The application, chapter 5, verse 7. For the vineyard of Jehovah of hosts is the house of Israel. You have your answer right now. The vineyard is Israel, and the men of Judah his delightful plant. Thus he looked for justice, circle carefully justice, but behold, bloodshed. He looked for righteousness, circle righteousness, but behold, a cry of distress. So Israel ends up condemning itself, basically. Because he says, what did I do for you? What I did for you that I did not do. He did everything. So he was having the right to expect good grapes. They never produced. So because of no production right now, because of a lack of fruit, comes the judgment. A judgment has to come. I finish with that tonight, because I wanted Olga to write that down, but I will basically write that down by transliteration. That's why in verse 7 I ask you to circle a few things. But he looked for justice, but behold bloodshed. For righteousness, but behold the cry of distress. Look at me for a moment. Do you remember that I said to you that Isaiah is an expert in the Hebrew language? Do you remember this? He is a city prophet, basically. If you compare him to Amos, or Amos precisely, which is a shepherder, these two guys wrote a different type of Hebrew. Okay? So basically, Isaiah has a very refined language type of thing, and he likes to play upon words here. And you have this in verse 7. When he says, instead of justice, give me the rest of the sentence. Bloodshed. So look how it's pronounced in Hebrew. Behold, Hebrew, mishpat. Behold, mishpat, Hebrew for bloodshed, mish, P-A-T-H, C-H. Instead of mishpat, mishpach. So it's a play upon word. It looks almost the same. Mishpat, mishpach. Okay? So just changing or adding a vowel type of thing, change the whole meaning. Instead of justice, bloodshed. Instead of mishpat, Marilyn, instead of mishpat, mishpach. So if you're far, what is he saying there? Playing upon words. Same with the rest of it. What's the rest of it? Give me the two words here. I need them. Righteousness.
And distress.
It took me about 20 years to be able to write righteousness properly, and I finally got it. A cry. Instead of righteousness, a cry of what? But that's the word cry that we want. Tzehaka. So this one is said K-A-K-A-D. Instead of righteousness, Tzehaka. And now S-T-S-E-A-Q-A-H. What did he drop here? The H here. Instead of tzedakah, tzehaka. So just an H drop. Okay? And it changed the complete meaning of the word. Okay? The T-S-E-D, T-S, the D-H is not there. Aka here, another form here. Just a slight different sound of the throat, and you wreck the full meaning of the word. So that's one example when he is basically an expert in the Hebrew language.
The first word, is it Q-A-D?
T-S-E-D-H-A-Q-A-D.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And the other one is T-S-E-A-Q-A-H. But it doesn't work. This is transliteration. If Olga would ask Olga, and she would go from right to left, write them in Hebrew, and show which letter is not there. This doesn't work. It's translate. And the only reason transliteration, not translation, but transliterated, and the reason I show you this is because I say often we'll use these play upon words. So you can picture Lee having the prophet in the valley and saying these words way better than me with a very refined Hebrew and pronouncing of judgment like this. So no wonder why people hated him. Refined with language and going to contrast. Righteousness, a cry. Justice, bloodshed. It's a beauty. And it's hard to explain when we don't master the language or don't have the proper pronunciation of these things. My desire was only to show you this. Okay? I'm done for tonight. Okay? Bit of tiredness. I need to go look after the baby. She's probably in bed right now. I need prayer for my family. When you know how it works with babyhood and stuff. They enter in the house into something or me or whatnot, and everybody gets it. So we are at that point right now, but thank God I was capable to come. I was the first one to bring it, but I get out of it quite good. So, homework concerning your Isaiah class. B, the woes and the judgment. You need to finish your chapter 5. Carefully, twice. Anticipate. Make a note on your outline, left here. That's what I do. I put a sticky note on mine and I write left here. Okay? And then we carry on with all this. And if you read ahead of me, it's going to be way easier. Announcements. Church tomorrow. We have church tomorrow, and the pastor Boyd Tremblett from the Pentecostal in Chaminas will be doing the speaking, but I will be here among you to introduce him and to sit under his teaching. I'm blessed to have a guest speaker. This is Thursday, Friday nothing, Saturday no class. Those who are doing the Revelation on Saturday morning, no class because of the Thanksgiving. And then we carry on with the regular schedule. It's going to give you a break and give me a break also. Kathy, if you like it, most welcome. Can invite more people, and all of you too also can invite. We're missing a few souls tonight, actually. So anyway, this is the way it is. Ernie, do you have the strength for a short prayer? You have the energy to do it, brother?
We ask you, Lord, to keep on opening our eyes so that we can see all the wonders that are presented here in the Scriptures. And we ask you, Lord, to keep directing and guiding us in all things. We ask you, Lord, to be with our leader there, Francois. Bless him, bless his family. We pray, Lord, that you will heal any illnesses in the family. We ask you, Lord, that we may now